Ladies and gentlemen, we are glad you're here for another wonderful episode of Real Talk at the Round Table with special guest Natalie, William, and myself, David, and we're here to bring a great topic. William, what are we going to be talking about today?
Yeah, thanks, David. It's a pleasure to be here with you again, and Natalie. We're going to be talking about loyalty and maybe a little bit of boundaries as well. I think as coaches, it's very important for us to know our boundaries and to stick to them in our day-to-day. Yeah.
So, Natalie, why don't you come up and kind of introduce yourself since we're going to be talking a lot about loyalty with you, and where did this topic come from?
Oh, well, good evening. David and William, thank you for having me as a guest this evening. I am Natalie Kaibel. I am a Ramsey Preferred Coach and have been part of the RPC network for about a year and a half now. This topic of loyalty came out of a discussion with William earlier this year, and just a sense that seems to be a strong thread through my life that certainly goes into coaching, but then also I see it personally as well.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting for loyalty because your integrity is forever to get, and it's very easy to destroy. That's the same thing with loyalty. You can claim to be loyal, but one mistake ruins it, and people just don't trust that you're going to be loyal to them. So loyalty is something that takes a long time to get and is very easy to mess up. So you have to be on top of it, tooth and nail, constantly. So how loyal are you?
I think I'm very loyal. I would consider myself to be an introvert and to be one with fewer friendships that go much deeper. And so that loyalty, once it's established, is long lasting.
Mm-hmm. And it's key. I love how you said deep relationships because quantity is not always best. Quality is better. And I know your husband thinks you're very loyal. And your close friends, they know how loyal you are, And so, what's a good experience that developed your loyalty in true existence?
A good experience that developed loyalty. Oh, goodness. David, I'm not sure how to answer that. I guess loyalty is just one of those things that seems to be kind of a hallmark of my life. I think about loyalty sometimes coming out as responsibility. And I remember in college, I was the nominee as a freshman to be a representative for our floor at some kind of a student housing organization. And at the end of the year, they gave me an award on the floor, just, those little moniker things that says really responsible. So that comes to mind. It's probably not one of the best ones, but I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I'll tell you.
If I can say something.
Go for it, Will.
Yeah, if I can say something here. I've been sitting on this for a little while now, and I'm about to explode if I can't say it.
Can't say it.
There are a ton of coaches out in the free world today. It has blown up, like the market for coaches has blown up, right? But as Ramsey coaches, I feel like integrity is a hallmark, like you said, Natalie, for us Ramsey coaches, because of everything that Ramsey stands for. And this quote by Zig Ziglar came to mind, and I have to share it in this context. The most important persuasion tool you have in your entire arsenal is your integrity.
It's a great quote.
Yeah, that's really good. And I have the I guess title of I'm always early. Matter of fact, I have a rule: if I'm on time, I'm already late. And one place I was at, a person that was like 2 minutes away would always show up late, and I'm an hour and a half away, and I was always early. And they're like, you have no excuse because this guy's always early. That's something that has stuck with me over the years. Even if I think I'm going to be late, I'm going to call in. I might be a little bit late. I'm caught up in traffic, and then I still show up on time. And they're like, "You call in when you're going to think you're going to be late, but you're still on time." It's because it's been drilled in me my whole life. If you're on time, you're already late. Always show up early. If you're working that way, you can settle in. You don't have to rush right in. Even in coaching practice, we give ourselves a 15-minute buffer so we can prepare for the meeting. We usually show up in the Zoom calls or the Google Meets usually 5 minutes early to give time for when the other person comes in. So, that's a good rule of thumb, and that creates loyalty because you're loyal for the business. You want to show up and you want to be there. And after, a couple months, you're like, I can trust this guy's going to be here. I don't have to worry.
Yeah. I think it's a great point, David. Coaching is an out-of-the-box experience anyway. So it requires a lot of trust on our client's part to sign up with us. Like, who is this guy or gal that I want to trust to coach me and let in? Like, that's vulnerable. But I think that one of the ways that we can really soothe that potential fear or doubt or disbelief, a really easy way is to simply show up early. So when they're clicking on that Zoom link and they see our smiling face, they're asking how they're doing, and not having to wait on us, or God forbid, call us, where are you at? That would be terrible. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, have you guys ever been in a Zoom call or a Google Meets call, and you're in there early, and your head is down, you're doing some paperwork or something like that, waiting for your guest, and then they show up and you hear that ding, and you look up and they're staring at you like, and it's funny because sometimes if you're always early, you're going to be reading a book or doing something waiting for your other person, but you're still there. Right? And when you hear those ding, somebody's there, and you pick your head up and you're like, hey, oh, you're already here. Has that happened to you guys?
Absolutely. 100%. Not as much as you, probably, because you are so punctual and you do a great job at it. Hats off to you. If I was wearing a hat, I'd take it off because of your punctuality. But normally I'm just flying in, trying to get there on time. And, on time is about 5 minutes early, 10 minutes early, something like that. So not as much with me.
How about you, Natalie?
Yeah, I've had that experience before where I'm sitting doing something else, maybe when my guest is running late. And so I've experienced that. I unfortunately have been on the other side of that also, where someone else is waiting for me. So this is definitely a good reminder of this aspect of loyalty as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, loyalty is a broad perspective because each person is loyal in their own way. For those that know since you brought up Ramsey Preferred Coach, the Ramsey system, they talk about the nerds and the free spirit. And I'm just going to draw a conclusion. I don't know much about you, Natalie, but I'm just going to draw a conclusion. I'm going to say you're probably a free spirit. So, is that true?
In my relationship with my husband, I am the nerd and he's the free spirit.
Okay, I love how you said in my relationship with my husband. Okay, step that aside. And what are you, though? Are you a nerd or a free spirit?
David, I really think I'm a mix of the two.
Okay.
And, qualifying that for the relationship, I also think about a humbling experience that I've been going through where I'm serving on a board for a girls organization as treasurer. And even though I've got a background in personal finance, the accounting side of it, there's a reason I chose not to become an accountant. Mm-hmm. And so that's almost too structured. So I get the number side of it, but also it's the people that makes it really interesting. Mm-hmm. So I see that as a combination.
I know with Will and we're a great mix in Absolute Awaken because I am very much a nerd, and Will is very much a free spirit. So the two combinations just make it work just perfectly. A lot of times I'm pulling out my hair, will you show up? And Will is pulling out his hair, will you stop being so detailed? But it makes it just work better.
That was actually our experience more towards the beginning, but then I think we've grown a lot, David. And like I said, dude, if I had a hat, I would take it off to you. You do an excellent job at the detailed stuff, and I respect you so much for it. And I feel like that key ingredient, respect, is so essential when you put two people that are very different together. And it's like it's going to define whether or not they oppose each other or complement each other. And I feel like we do a great job, especially you do a great job at complementing.
But the one key thing about free spirits that I have to say, you're more of a people person. Like, I love people, I love to talk, but stay in my order. Stay in my structure. And, free spirits are, hey, what's up, man? Whatever you need, man. You got it, man. They're easy going. And so, I really think you do a very good job with the people, and that's key. I have a very good knack of being able to talk to anybody anywhere, but then I try to ring them in and pull them into a structure real quick. And so some people that rubs the wrong way because it's like, wait, why are you trying to pull me over here? And I have strange things like this is watermelon season. I love watermelon season because I'll go up to the watermelon. Now, I know you knock the watermelon. You listen to how hollow it is, However, I don't do that. I slap the watermelon and I'm like, how do I tell? I play the dumb card. When you play the dumb card, it flocks people to try to help you out because people love to help each other out. And so I actually draw people into me because it looks like I don't know what I'm doing. Here, let me help you out. Oh, please do. Thank you so much. What do you do? I mean, you're so talented. What do you do? And again, all I'm doing is reeling them in, right? And that's because I'm detailed oriented. I have a purpose. I'm going to get you, and I'm going to pull you into my system. Where William, he can talk with you, ease things in, and you don't even realize it, but he's already pulled you in. So it's different techniques, but they both work very well. They both create loyalty because once you get to know a person, you know exactly how they're going to be, but they're different loyalties. And that person is going to be loyal in this area. This is exactly what they are loyal on because you've seen them time and time again, and that's exactly how they're going to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that is really well said. And there's like a certain point that, hey, maybe they want to be like our person, our potential prospect, our potential client, or not our potential prospect, our potential client, like reaches a point where enough and they want to know, like, what do you do? And then that opens a door for us to talk about what we do as coaches and, reel them in all the way and get them involved in our system, start talking about that vision, start talking about that why, start talking about that meaning and purpose and those monster goals, those SMART goals, and get them flowing through the system because our system is a winning system. It affects things, right, for the positive. So, yeah, I like it.
So, Natalie, what's one strong, loyal characteristic that you have?
I think loyalty includes giving people the benefit of the doubt. There have been relationships, throughout life where perhaps others choose to see the flaws that a person has and focus on those. But I think it goes beyond that to maybe recognizing if there's a flaw in a relationship, but also seeing the upside. And again, this is kind of where the loyalty comes in, and I'm not wanting to divulge too much about that, but Does that make sense to you all
Mm-hmm.
in that example?
Yep, it sure does. And so, with that being said, William, you also said loyalty with a twist of, what was that? Boundaries?
Right, David. Yeah, boundaries. Absolutely. Loyalty is key, but without boundaries, it's like, what are we being loyal to?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like we can be loyal to our boundaries, and to have those predetermined boundaries before we even step inside of a coaching session or out into the grocery store as we talk to potential prospects or potential clients. I keep saying potential prospects. Like, where's that? Prospects. Anybody we talk to is our prospect. Can be, besides our spouses, probably not them, or our moms or our dads. Like, boundaries, right? Like, we don't need to coach family. There's one example. What's another example for good, healthy boundaries?
Well, one thing I got, and that's a good question. So, what's some good, healthy boundaries that you have, Natalie?
I think it's been an exercise in figuring this out. I'm a year and a half into this, but my background is that I have been a stay-at-home mom for many years. Went to college, got a degree in personal finance, went on, had a stint as a CFP, worked in nonprofit housing, and then that first baby came along, and goodness gracious, there was a draw to be home. So fast forward a number of years, that baby is going to be turning 20 this year. And we've got two others, a teen and an upper grade school girl. And so when I went through the FCMT training, the financial coach master training through Ramsey in 2023, and then stepped into RPC in 2024, it's really been an exercise in figuring out boundaries within my family and helping everybody understand, okay, so mom's wearing this different hat now.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, so that's been an exercise for me in figuring out how to do the boundaries, for work versus home and the different hats that we all wear, but then also within the context of coaching, determining how vulnerable to be with your clients and keeping their best interest at heart. So not focusing too much on making sure we're focusing on the client and maybe being able to relate, but determining how much is reasonable to share and is beneficial for the client.
And it's key what you said. You said family boundaries and coaching boundaries. It's key to point out that boundaries are in everything we do. And we have different boundaries for the family. We have different boundaries for work, for the W-2 job, and different boundaries for coaching. And it's always stated, what goes on at work stays at work. Leave your work at work and leave your home at home. Don't bring the drama to home, and don't bring the drama to work. And I'm very key on boundaries and sticking to it. Sometimes too strict. Some people are lenient. Well, here's a boundary, but it goes like this. Where I'm like, here's a boundary, a double line, and it's not moving. One of my boundaries is, because time is valuable, if you do a no-call, no-show to one of my sessions, the next one you're paying. Well, I have a really good excuse. I understand that, but unfortunately, because you didn't let me know, the next one you're paying. Now, it is a refundable deposit, which means if you don't show up, you just paid me. If you show up, it'll get put towards a coaching session or, whatever. But once you do no call, no show, show me the money to get back on my calendar. And if you come up on my calendar, I delete you until you pay. And that's just that's a firm boundary I have. Some coaches are very lenient. Oh, well, I understand. I'll meet with you again. Oh, I understand. I'll meet with you again. How many times are you going to do that? Are you going to be walked
Yeah.
over? Are you going to be standing firm? So, but now
Right.
there's
You know,
some boundaries that are very loose with me. Well, here's a guideline. It's not a boundary. So
mm,
you talk about Ramsey preferred coach. They have a network, and they have these developmental calls. And one call I loved. They had the flags. I don't know if you were in that call, Natalie. But there was a yellow flag, a red flag, and he also used a magic wand.
Oh, right. Right. The visuals. Now I
Yes.
remember.
So I actually got a white flag, a yellow flag, and a red flag, and I'm still looking for a green one. And I need a magic wand. But then another coach also got a Imagine sign. So these extra props are phenomenal because when they start getting close to a boundary, throw the yellow flag. When they get to a boundary, throw the red flag. And if they keep going, okay, look, we're going to stop right now. Then you get firm. But the visuals are kind of like, hey, look, you're getting close. Watch it.
hmm Yeah. I think it's so key, the visuals and then the boundaries, staying loyal to them. Even the refundable deposit that you talked about when there's like a no call, no show. Or maybe it's somebody that doesn't even show up or doesn't call about canceling or rescheduling within the 24-hour or 48-hour window, whatever the boundary it is you set. Because it's up to us as coaches to train our clients, our potential clients, on how to treat us. If we're not going to do it, who's going to do that? Right? We've got to do that. And then it's up to them if they want to work with us. And a lot of the times in my experience, and David, I think this is yours as well, because we've talked about it. Natalie, I'd like to hear your feedback. Whenever we do hold fast to our boundaries, it causes people to respect us more and to prioritize us more and to prioritize themselves more, really, because this is collaborative. It's about us and them and how well we work together.
William, I appreciate what you said there. And before I forget, David, you talked about these flags, and so I wanted to share with you I don't have a yellow flag. I have a yellow chicken bunny. This is a creation of actually my youngest kid. And so this is one of these things where it looks like a chick, but then it's got bunny ears. And so when we get to that boundary or we're kind of, in that gray area, this thing pops up and we're like, what is this? So, William, remind me where we were going to go after that. I got stuck on the flags.
Long ears, love the tangents and the rabbit trails, and I think that it's key, whether it's a flag, whether it's a bunny, whether it's a code word, like whatever it is, if it's just direct,
I do have to say,
go ahead.
I love the bunny because unlike a flag, the bunny is, wait, what is that? And it redirects them. So like a flag, it's like, yeah, but that's like redirecting them. So I actually kind of like that.
Very good. Well, I think my daughter's pretty excited that I'm actually using it beyond Easter time. So let's see. And I was going to mention that, and then
you got redirected.
Yes. So gosh.
So William was talking about firm boundaries and what you thought about them.
For boundaries. Oh, now I remember. Thank you, David. So William, when you mentioned we have to teach our clients how to treat us, it makes me think also of parenting. And, having 3 daughters, 2 teenagers in there, you go through this process of determining if behavior is okay. And if it's not, you've got to put your foot down and you've got to demonstrate for them what is and is not acceptable. And so that leads really well into working with clients as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a lot like parenting. The only difference, I think, is like our clients have the choice to just drop us. So, holding to boundaries can be a scary thing. But I think that the key ingredient there is empathy. We're doing it for them. We're doing it because we know that it is going to spell success for them. And when we do it out of love like that, I think it just comes off differently, and it's easier for them to accept.
That's key. Doing it out of love, That makes me think, William, of a topic that comes up also with boundaries, and with loyalty. And so this is something that I'm still trying to figure out with boundaries. When I receive a lead from whatever source, it's an honor that they've reached out to me and that they're willing to talk with me. And I have a strong desire to help them. What is challenging is if they're not necessarily the right fit, the idealist in me wants to still see what I can do to help them. But the realist says, well, wait a second, this is probably not a good fit. And so that's where saying no comes in. And for me, that's a hard thing to do. So I don't know about you guys and how you handle that, but like I said, I'm still learning here.
Well, I know with myself, it's very easy. So I'm half Italian. My dad was 100%, so we're very firm. And a lot of times when people challenge us, we go stronger in their face. We don't back down. So no for me is very easy. And so when you come up to a boundary, I'll give you a warning, but then I'll stand firm. And I'm the person that if you stand up, I'll stand up as well. I'm not weak. I'm not timid. I will push you back down. And I think Will is a lot lighter than I am, or a lot smoother.
I think it's important to have that backbone in the correct contextual situations for us to have a backbone. And I think that may be where we're a bit different. Now, I am an 8th Italian, so there's that. I'm not sure exactly how that plays in, but maybe the Italians are a little bit more hard-nosed, especially a certain sect of them. We won't go there. So anyway, and it's going back to the niche, like this particular clientele that we're looking for. Maybe it's married couples, maybe it's singles, maybe it's right out of college, maybe it's old people like planning for retirement, older people. I shouldn't say old people. Whatever it is, like whatever we're doing. I think that it's important that we know who our niche is and really focus in and not be afraid to say no if they don't fit our niche, not out of arrogance or pride, but just out of, hey, this is not my expertise, and maybe I know another coach that can serve you better. And I think doing that and filling up our pipeline with like people that are similar really bolsters who we are as a coach, because we're not consistently having to go over here on this opposite end of the spectrum and then way back over here on this other opposite end. And we're just like stretching ourselves too thin. If we like narrow it down, we can get to be experts in that field.
Yeah, that's good. So I just wonder, politeness is something that was always drilled into me growing up. And so I think, I don't think I have any Italian in me, for what that's worth. So it is definitely hard for me to say, oh, I'm sorry, I can't help you. So I think that there is an art to turning that around and being able to still serve them as best you can within that consultation when you're determining that maybe this is not a great fit. Do you all have tips on how you might handle that?
Yeah, very easily. So as an Italian, because you guys didn't realize, Italians are real good with networking, and they're real good with being firm when they have to. They're known for not stepping down, and they're known for networking. So, speaking of that, the best thing you can do is build a network. You can't serve everybody, and your consultation is there for you to figure out, am I a good match for you? Are you a good match for me? Once you figure that out, then great, let's go together. If not, you know what? It's not going to work out, but I have somebody that will help you out. They're going to be a better fit for you. That's why one of the things with me and Will, we work so great. We're the exact opposite. I'm a nerd, he's a free spirit. And so we have different personalities, and it's great because that way we can touch more people. The more people you have in your network, the more people you can touch. And I'm going to tell you something, Natalie. If I come to you and you're not the fit for me, you cannot help me out, but you refer me to somebody and they actually work out, I'm going to have a high respect for you. And, some of my family members or somebody I know that's not quite like me, talk to her because she could probably help you out. If you just say to them, you know what, I can't help you out, I don't know what you can do, but you need to talk to somebody else. Well, screw you then too. It's like, what are you here for? But if you actually help them get realigned with somebody else, that's going to help you out. But in the same token, don't do it unpaid. You did the work, you did everything, they're your client. So either have somebody that works for you and you can pass them to them, or take a commission. I'm going to give you a lead and give me $50. Give me $100. Come up with something that you're going to work with them. Also, when they give you clients, you're going to pay them, right? You'll work back and forth. Or maybe I don't charge you, but you give me a client too. So I'm going to give you a client and you give me a client. That's also a possibility. But build your network, and however you build it in a way that's going to work for you.
That's great. I wonder if we can take that idea, David, a little further. What about if the referral comes from a satisfied client? What does loyalty look like in that situation?
Well, if you're not going to work with them, then do the same thing, because that's going to create even a higher loyalty with your satisfied client. They're satisfied with you, they love you, but their client that they referred to you is not going to work out, because you got to remember, that's probably their friend, their sister, their brother. That's somebody close to them. And it's a high level of respect for them to refer them to you. And if you don't work out and you're the worst coach in the world for that person, that's going to get back to them, and they're going to be like, man, this was a crappy coach. It would be better to refer them out, and that's going to give you a high credibility.
Interesting. I wonder also if we could take that a little bit different way. Let's say that the satisfied client refers and the referral is a good fit. How do you treat that? What do you do to show appreciation to your client that referred you someone else?
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So with Absolute Awaken, we have a referral bonus. If you refer a lead to us, we give you so much. If you refer a client to us, we give you so much. If you refer, we have an Absolute CRM, an all-in-one program for coaches. If you refer in that, you get 30%. So, and that's residual. So as long as they have the program, you get 30%. When you bring a client, as long as they stay a client, you get 20% residual. If you bring a lead, it's $50. Wow. So depending on what you're bringing to us, as to what you're going to get. Now with Absolute Awaken, we have several coaches, so basically once a client is referred to us, they stay with us. It just depends on who's going to see them. So if you're giving us a client, we don't have to do no work, you're going to get 20%. If you're going to give us a lead that we have to do work to create a client, then you're only going to get so much money because we actually have to develop
$50.
it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, and we've actually made that public on the website so that when people come in, and every single client knows it because we tell them, so that they can refer. We want them to make the extra money, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, create a referral bonus, and if you have a program that does it, they use a code, so everything they send in through that code, they get paid off of.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, people love referrals, and especially when you give high referrals, that they love that. Some people will do that as a job and nothing else because they'll make more money from that than they will their own job.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know?
Just mm-hmm. Yeah, that networking, right? That networking. And I think it's another reason to build a strong network of coaches around you that you know their niche, you know what they do and what they're good at. And with that being the case, you can say, hey, I know a coach that would serve you well, and I think you'd work really well together, and then you know exactly who to send them to.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, really great stuff. Now at this time, we are going to take questions from the chat box over YouTube because we are live right now on YouTube. So if you've got a question for myself, Natalie Kaibel, or David Smith, come on in here with your question and make sure you say who you want to ask the question to. Maybe it's just to the room in general. That's fine too. Let us know. And yeah, we'd love to answer it.
And also with that, this is a good time to mention our sponsor of today's podcast. Our sponsor today is Chime, where when you sign up, you get an additional $100 on top of everything else. And the link is below. Now we'll get right back into the content.
Yep. Boundaries and loyalty. Boundaries and loyalty. David, can you think of a time? Now, I know that, like, being Italian, it's very easy for you to say no. But can you think of a time when that boundary was, like, gray? It had some gray. And you're like, I'm not sure exactly what to do here. And then the lines were blurred and maybe even crossed.
So that's a good point. When it's a gray issue, I don't challenge yet. I try to redirect. I try to figure out where they're going. If they're hard and they keep going in the same direction and they get to a boundary, that's when I'll step up and I'll say, normal voice, we need to change the subject, or let's agree to disagree, or we need to get off this, or that ain't going to work. If they keep challenging or they get louder, then I will speak louder than them. Whatever the volume is, I will get louder. And if I have to get in their face, I will get in their face. But yes, they have to cross a boundary for me to actually get louder. But when it's the gray area, then I try to redirect. I try to reposition our talk. As a coach, we are the leader in the conversation. And several clients I have had try to take the reins. It's like, and in my head, I think, I'm not paying you, you're paying me. I'm going to keep control. So then I'll start to redirect it to get it off of their standing and start controlling the conversation again. Now that sounds kind of strange because we're supposed to be there for the client. But we're there, we've already done a consultation, we've already done the vision, we know where they're going. And our purpose is to help them on their journey to get to that point. And so we are the guide. We're supposed to be guiding them to see the doors they need to open, the victories they need to get. All we are is a guide. But again, we're the guide. We're the ones that control the conversation. Now they lead us.
Yeah, I like it. I think that I want to point out, I want to ask some questions here. We know from our training through FCMT, Financial Coach Master Training, it's already been mentioned once by Miss Natalie Kaibel here. It was wonderful. I think David and I, we came in with the old, Natalie, you may have too,
Yeah.
with Chris Hogan's booming voice there.
Mhm.
I'm still going through the new now. I haven't finished it, sad to say. But anyway, it's really good stuff. Everything that I have witnessed so far is really good. But yeah, so it's like the person that controls the conversation is the person who asks the questions, not the person that talks the most. Find that interesting. And that is like flying under most people's radars. Most people don't have a clue about that. But, you know, as coaches, that was something that we actually were trained in.
Yep.
So my question is, how has, this is a very specific question, David, how have some of your clients tried to take control in those sessions? And then how did you regain control?
Okay, so one of the common ways, like you said, the questions is who controls the conversation. The client needs to be doing more of the talking, and you're just asking open-ended questions that lead them into a direction. Lead them to find their own answer, because we're not telling them nothing. So one good example, and this happens a lot, William, you're coaching me, and you're kind of asking me some questions, so I give an answer to your question. And then right after I get done with the answer, I say, and what do you expect me to do? How do I need to go? What needs to be my next step? Now I'm trying to take the control from you, and I'm trying to turn it on to you, where now you're answering. As a coach, I can't answer anything. Matter of fact, I'm not allowed to say anything but another question. So I'm going to gear it, take the control back, and flip the question back on them. And easiest thing is, well, what do you think about that? But in that kind of a question, you can't ask that kind of question, because it's like, wait, are you trained? Do you not know what to say? So in that kind of question, in that kind of thing, well, what direction do I need to go? That designs a different kind of question. And the good question that I love is, this is your journey, so where are you trying to go? And what I'm trying to do is pinpoint back to their vision, because they've already told me their direction. And I'm not going to tell them their direction, but I want them to tell me their direction. What that does is, by asking a specific question to get back to their vision, it takes their mind, and they're like, wait a second, I have a vision. Now, if they've done my vision like I help them with, they have the vision posted everywhere. So probably when they're talking to me, in front they also have the vision staring at them. And so they're like, wait a second. And then they'll say something in the vision. And I'll say, that's a good point. What else is in that vision? Because now I've got them geared on that direction. Now I get them to pull more of it out. Now their mind is focused on that and not focused on the questions. Now I'm focused on the questions, leading them to opening the next door, going down the right path for them. And we don't know the path. Only they do. So Natalie, my question for you is, have you had a client that has tried to take control and you've had to redirect? And how has that looked?
I think the thing that comes to mind more is with a consultation. But no, actually within the coaching session also, where the client wanted to talk about other things. And what I have started doing is using some slide presentations during the video conferences, kind of as an outline, and checking with them to see what's top of mind for them, and what the things are that we're hoping to cover that day. And then if we get off task or go down another route that is not helping them get to where they want to be, that they've told me, vision, as you mentioned, David, then I say, well, hold on just a minute. We need to come back here, or we're not going to get to all the things that you said you wanted to cover today.
That brings me to a good point. So in a consultation, do you try to answer all their questions?
Nope.
How many will you answer?
Ooh. Well, I don't know if I have a hard and fast number. Do you?
1. Now, I like to dangle a carrot because this is a free consultation. So I try not to answer any questions. The first 30 minutes, it's just finding about them. And then the next 15 minutes, it's how I connect with them. And the last 15 minutes is give me your money. But in that 15 minutes of me connecting to them, I'm going to help them with one area. And the reason is because you don't give everything for free because they'll never pay for it. So I like to dangle the carrot. I'll help them with one issue as I'm dangling the carrot so I can draw them in. But if you don't show value, they're not going to pay.
Yes, but what if they're carnivores?
Well, you got to hold the carrot far enough away they can't grab it. So the thing is,
they don't want the carrot, right?
What if they don't want the carrot? Yeah,
a piece of meat. I'll give them a flag and arm in front of them. Because remember, your carrot that you're dangling, a hand is attached, right? So as I'm dangling the carrot, my hand is dangling. But I'm going to keep that far enough away where they can't grab it.
Well, I didn't say anything about cannibalism.
Well, how are you going to know until you get into it, right? But the
Pretty
thing
sure
is,
I can tell a human hand.
The thing is you want to keep it at a distance. You want them to pay for it. And then even when they're
way to miss the whole point, Will. Way to miss the whole point.
Even when they pay for it, you don't answer everything in one shot. I like to do exercises and get them to work it out and answer them their own questions. Now in the consultation, I'll answer a question using them to answer it, but on a quicker one, not using exercises, because I got to show them value, and it has to be quicker. Like when you sit down with Dave Ramsey, he'll actually go over things a little bit more. He takes about an hour with you. When you call in his show, he takes 2 minutes. He slams it in your face. It's kind of the same way. Consultation, you still don't give them the answers, but you are quicker to get them the results. Because you have to show value. If they don't see value, they're not going to click. If they see value, they're going to pay for it. Now, once they're paying for it, I can take more time. Speaking of hats, I had a client that had an issue of handling too many things at one time. They were doing 3 and 4 jobs in the same role. And the person was getting a benefit because they were paying the cheaper, but getting the more expensive. And I actually had them wear several different kinds of hats, and each hat had a different color and had a different title on it. So when they switched roles, they would switch hats. We met 2 weeks later, and they were like, wow, that's a big difference. And they started separating their tasks. They were able to see the difference. That was one exercise I did with a person. On top of that, whatever the situation is, I'll come up with a good exercise for them to learn. Because the philosophy is this. If I give you a fish, Natalie, you're going to eat today. What happens tomorrow?
You're hungry again.
But if I teach you to fish, you're going to eat every single day. So I love exercises because it's a way, it's a guided way, but it's a way for me to get you to see the answer. I had one person cutting down things they were using. And they would ask me, well, should I cut this out? Should I cut this out? So they were cutting out memberships. And they were like, well, I have Walmart Plus. I get it for the deliveries and the gas. Should I cut it out? And I was like, well, let me ask you a question. How much would it cost you if you didn't have it? Well, I get 10 cents off every single gallon by having it. Okay? take 5 gas stations in your area for the next month. Every time you go to the gas station to fill up, get the gas prices of all 5 and fill up. And at the end of the month, take those figures. Now, most gas stations you get 5 cents off for free. Without paying for a membership, you can get 5 cents. And so you do that, take 5 cents off and take 10 cents off, so you're saving an additional 5 cents. How much you saved, does that pay for your membership? You know, when the exercise was done, they were like, okay, I need to get rid of it. Because at a gas station that they can get for free, they were like, I can get a free membership and save just about as much. So the thing is with exercises, you can actually teach them a lot better than if I just tell you the answer. Yeah, cut that out.
It's almost like providing them a template that is, compatible with other things, not just Walmart Plus. Like everything, you can apply this same template to every area, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's why it's key to have exercises. Oh, we just went dark. That's why we can create exercises to help them grow. Again, we're not giving them the answer, but we're leading them into finding the right answer for them. Now, general rule I have when they're coaching with me, if you're in debt, you get 1 streaming service, that's it. Because I understand people don't have cable no more. They have streaming services. Any streaming service will give you plenty of stuff to watch. You'll have more stuff. You'll never watch everything on that streaming service because they keep changing. Why do you need Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus and Hallmark Plus and blah, 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 blah?
Mm-hmm.
Now once they're debt free, if they want to sign up for more services, they can. But once they've cut them out and they're only using one, they actually see, I don't really need more. Yeah. But now there is a trick to
it. Turns out we don't have enough time to take advantage and get the value from all of them because we're working, trying to get out of debt.
And the other thing, Natalie, you're my sister. I'm your brother. I pay for Netflix. You pay for Hulu. You give me access to your account, I give you access to my account. Boom. Now you have 2. You're only paying for 1, but you have 2 services.
We call that using your resources.
That's right. That can be done. Because my rule is only 1 paid service. So if you use Tubi, which is a free, you watch commercials, but it's free. There's several free ones out there. Or if you get paid ones, but network, Like my brother pays for YouTube Premium. Thank you. I have it. I pay for Microsoft 360. He's welcome. He gets it. They're both services that we need for business, and we switch them. We are family. We're both of them have family plans, so it's not cheating the system. So, getting right into it, we're actually going to make a couple announcements. We love to talk about 3 things, 2 free, 1 paid. So, first of all, for all the coaches out there, we're always Ramsey coach. Well, I just shouldn't say it like that. We are all currently Ramsey coaches right now. And so we have a coaches community. This is completely free. It's for all coaches. I don't care if you're a Ramsey coaches or Tony Robbins, ICF, CCE, whatever kind of coach you are. If you have a credential or a certificate, you're welcome to the community. This is to build coaches network together, to build them stronger, and a lot of resources. There's a lot of blueprints in there that gives you free stuff. We love to give free stuff away. The link is below. Make sure you join that. Matter of fact, right now, we have June Madness because we're sizzling hot with these.
Mad.
And so that link is below as well. Now, the paid thing that we're going to talk about is the Absolute CRM. It's an all-in-one program. And matter of fact, there's an awesome deal going on right now that saves you basically $450. It's really awesome. This is a once in a lifetime deal because after this ends, which I think is like the 15th of the month, that deal will go away and won't come back again. So for those coaches out there, you want to snap up on that. And by the way, the link is below. The next free thing we want to talk about is we have another community coming for those Christians out there. It's planned to come about the end of the month, and it's going to have a lot of different Bible studies, a lot of different events for Christians. Everything's completely free. So these are the things that we want to spread out there. Make sure that you check them out. All the links are below. And by the way, the sponsor today is Chime, where they will give you an additional $100 when you sign up. The link is below. All the details are inside the link. Now, Natalie, it has been a blessing and an honor for you to be here. We have your link below, too. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, goodness. Well, thank you both for having me as a guest tonight. So I am a Ramsey Preferred Coach, and I love to empower women and families to change their financial futures, to change that legacy that they're living. And that's one of the best things about being a coach is to see the progress that's happening over time and the belief that this can get better, this is getting better, and then seeing that become reality.
And her Facebook is listed below, so if you're a woman or a family, make sure you click that link below and check her out. Will, did you have anything to say?
Yeah, it's golden. I'm humbled and honored to be with both of you and Natalie. Thank you so much for coming on, Natalie. We hope to have you back on sometime in the future. Right now we're scheduling about 5 months out, so sometime after probably the new year. But yeah, you've been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And it's a blessing seeing each and every person here. And there was no comments in the chat, so that means nobody got a reward for that. So we're going to extend an additional thing for anybody that comments below in this chat, even when we're not live. We're going to give you something. Basically, you pop a comment in below. It has to be a good one. It can't just be, hi. It has to be a good one. And
Let's
then
be a question.
there's going to be a thing below that you fill out for your reward. You can fill that out, and we will get you a reward. And we don't know what it is yet, but we're going to try to make it special for you. So make sure you pop a question for Natalie, Will, myself. Just pop questions below. We'll get it to the right person, get the answer for you. It's been a great blessing, an honor to be with both of you guys and to be with all of you out there. And we'll see you guys on the same bat time, same bat channel. Next week, we have an explosive. Starting tomorrow, you're going to see the ads for what's coming up next. Make sure you tune in.